Jurgen Klopp. Brilliant manager. Sour loser, wrote Clattenburg, who first came across Klopp at Borussia Dortmund. It annoyed me when managers could not be gracious in defeat. Klopp never took losing well, and that followed him to the Premier League. He had a bit of Fergie, Sir Alex Ferguson, about him in that regard, and he would also try to intimidate you. When he was winning, he was happy, he was good fun. When things were not going his way, he got prickly. That is just the way he was. The images of Klopp screaming in the face of Beswick would endorse Clattenburg's theory. Former PGMOL chief Keith Hackett called Klopp a serial offender. Martin Cassidy, founder of the charity Ref Support, has also cited Klopp's behavior as a catalyst for poor conduct in the grassroots game. Klopp stayed in character until the end. That bruising loss away to Everton last month, effectively ending any hopes of signing off with a Premier League title, saw him remonstrate with the fourth official for long periods of the first half. Who doesn't yell at the referee or the fourth official, says Bruce. We've all been at it. It's only when you step back from football you look at the poor fourth official and wonder what the hell he can do about it. But Klopp was no different to anyone else, really. Even Klopp's critics, and there are plenty, will accept his touchline demeanor made for compelling viewing. He could make the stories as well as he shaped them, good and bad. Few watched him as closely in the Premier League and Champions League as Des Kelly, the former lead interviewer at BT Sport. Now TNT Sport, otherwise known as Klopp's least favorite UK broadcaster. There's always a camera trained on him because he's a big personality and he's part of the show, says Kelly, who would typically watch Liverpool fixtures from an observer's seat behind the dugout. It's all part of the circus. He's passionate about his side. He wants to energize them. He wants them to press and be on the front foot. He's driving them on and he wants the crowd to join in. The opposition might not like it, but Liverpool fans love it. There's no way he's an ogre or some sort of bully. He just lets himself off the leash from time to time. Kelly felt that firsthand. One feisty post-match interview for a Saturday lunchtime TV game away to Brighton in November 2020 saw Klopp suggest TNT Sport had been responsible for James Milner's hamstring injury. He was ready for a rumble that day, says Kelly. The back and forth between Klopp and Kelly began a new cycle on the concerns over fixture scheduling. It ended up being a perfectly rational conversation, a proper debate, says Kelly. It went on for 8 or 9 minutes, and the producer was in my ear trying to wrap me up 2 or 3 times. It was a discussion, and if I cut it short, it'll be me backing off. 8 or 9 minutes doesn't sound a lot, but for a post-match interview, which normally goes on for 3 minutes tops, it kept going with me ignoring the producer. We almost missed the kickoff of the Man City game at 3 p.m. As circumstances would have it, Kelly was back to see Klopp just days later as Liverpool hosted Ajax in a Champions League game televised by the broadcaster. It was COVID regulations at the time, so the ground was empty, but there was an army of photographers. You could hear them clicking as Klopp came out before the game. He mumbled something, and I couldn't quite catch what he said. It sounded like, "You want some?" And then he said, "What a world we live in," looking at the cameras. I thought it was weird, but we did the interview. Gary Lineker was in the studio as the presenter, and he was listening. He asked, "Did you hear what he said?" It turned out he said, "You won, son. What a world we live in." Even if it was delivered with a bit of vinegar, it was a generous opening. After that, he was fine. Davison has also encountered Klopp in his combative moments, such as after a Merseyside derby in 2017, once Wayne Rooney had converted a contentious penalty to salvage a 1-1 draw for Everton. "I remember being told very early that this guy is going to challenge you," says Davison, Sky's touchline reporter. "He will ask you questions, come back at you, be like no other manager you've dealt with." It proved to be so true. Klopp is actually like no other person I've met. Massive, so self-confident. A lot of managers will have bits they want to get across, but the key for Klopp, and I'm sure it's the reason he connects so well with fans, is that he's so very genuine and an authentic communicator. Whether he's in a good mood or a bad mood, he's always box office. You're always in the game as a journalist with him. If you don't wilt, hold your ground a little bit, then he will 100% get the rewards. He will say fascinating stuff because he just does. There are moments of levity though. The last game I did with him, The win at Fulham. In April, he was taking the P*** out of me for my coat. He said, "You know why you're cold today? It's because your coat is S*******. I watched you come across the pitch, and I thought you're either brave or stupid." I told him we'd done enough interviews by now for him to know which one it was. The match days, and there have been about 490 as Liverpool manager, are perhaps what have taken most from Klopp's reserves. For all the scrutiny he faces in an all-consuming role, it is when Liverpool play that most is asked of him. Before, during, and after, there are onerous expectations placed upon the manager of the elite clubs. "I do think he finds it exhausting sometimes," says Davison. "The demands placed on managers are huge, and sometimes it shows. You see the times he gets angry with a journalist, but I would take the one bad day with Klopp for the 100 good days you get." Klopp insists this weekend will be the last the Premier League sees of him. One of English football's most flammable figures has burned himself out after 8.5 years, and a quieter life calls him away from Anfield. "We're talking about one of the greats here," says Bruce. "I'll miss him, and the Premier League will miss him. Say what you like about him. Watching him brightens up your day."